Welcome back to In the Money podcast. And what I have to say for this episode is I was not in the money as much as I would love to have been. Now, the big question of today is, do you buy time or play to win? And recently I was playing in a poker tournament. It was a $200 buy-in. And I was playing strong the entire tournament. There was about 170 players, and it comes down to the three tables, the final three tables. So there's roughly, when I got into the third table, roughly about 35 players left. Now, first place gets $4,000, and it pays all the way down to 29th place, which was crazy, which is so many payouts. But 29th place basically got their money back. And as I'm sitting in position, I'm roughly around 60,000 in chips. I'm in 35th place. The average chip stack is around 110,000. So I'm a little less than average, or almost half of average, sitting with 60,000. Blinds are 3,000, 6,000. Now, the funny thing about the structure of this tournament is the antes actually come from the big blind. So the big blind antes, not only the big blind ante, so this example is 6,000, but they ante another 6,000. So that's another big blind. And, you know, I'm about, from all the advice I've ever heard, you know, they always say, don't tighten up just to make the money. And, you know, I was sitting at the table and I'm looking at, you know, one, the players were extremely loose, and I wasn't, you know, for my table, I wasn't in last place, but there was about three other players who had, you know, roughly around 30 to 40,000 in chips. So they had to make a move now. Now, I didn't want to tangle with them because they can hurt me. And I didn't necessarily want to tangle with the big stack neither, because, you know, it would be nothing to him to knock me out. So I was thinking I have to make my plays correct and not tangle with the large stacks or the very small stacks or desperate. And as I'm watching people get out, you know, I'm 3 away from the money. So 32nd place, 3 away from the money. And I had to ask myself in that exact moment, I said, are you playing to win or are you just playing to cash? Now, the table's full of weak players. I've seen middle pair get called down with all-ins. I've seen draws happen when they weren't getting the right odds. And I didn't necessarily want to gamble with anybody, but in my brain, I knew I just didn't want to sit there and wait. And everything told me, we're playing to win. So even if you got out right now, you know, you have to make a move because you need to double up just to be the average chip stack. So I'm under the gun. Recently, the small blind is knocked out, so it's only a big blind. But remember, he anteed 6,000 for the big blind and 6,000 for the ante, and there was no small blind. So the first card I'm dealt with, I look at a jack of diamonds, and I said, okay. I said, if the next card's a decent card, this might be the hand. Even though I'm only a few away from the money, I knew this might be the hand. Next card I get, ace of hearts. And I said, okay, this is it. I'm offsuit. Ace jack isn't the best hand I should be playing. But I knew that, you know, with me coming up to the next big blind with the antes, 12,000, that takes me down to 48,000 in chips. And that's like a third of my stack. So I would be happy just to pick up the blinds here. And ace jack is not necessarily a bad hand. I don't want to go up against, you know, ace king or ace queen. In early position, there's 7 people at the table. I push all in. That's the move. The next player to the next to me, he hesitates. He asks for a count. He gives a count and folds. I end up having 58,000. Now, the drunk man in the middle, this is the guy I did not want to tangle with. He is the largest chip stack, and he says, I got a call. Now, mind you, the hand right before that, he was trying to bluff a hand, and he had 9-5 of hearts. and someone calls him with the ace king, or something. No, he makes a big bet. Someone goes all in with ace king, and he's pot committed at that time. So he calls, and he chuckles it off. He says, "Yeah, I was trying to. He said I was trying to make a move." And ends up winning the hand with like a 4-card straight on the board, giving him the 9 high straight. So he calls, everyone else folds. I pull out, my ace jack offsuit, and he rolls over pocket 9s. So I'm not in a horrible situation there. My heart kind of sunk when he said I got a call. I was hoping I wasn't up against aces or kings, or even queens at that point. So his legit was totally cool. It was a legit call. He's a chip leader. He has 9s. Like right now it's almost 50-50. So the flop comes, 5, jack, 10, 2 spades. So I hit top pair with top kicker. Now his 9s are almost drawn dead. The turn comes the ace of spades. So there was 2 spades on the flop, another spade on the turn. As you can tell what's about to happen. So I turn over 2 pair now. And I'm like, all right, great. I said, oh boy, here it comes. I'm hoping just like hit me with another jack or an ace to lock this in. And the river comes a spade. I don't even know what card it was. It could have been 2 of spades. And yuck. My heart was broken. I made the right move, so I wasn't upset with how I played. But I guess when I walked away, like, even though everyone and everything tells me you have to play to win, don't tighten up on the money. That's when people tighten up and you can steal blinds and you can get away with a lot. But I don't know if I should have waited for another hand. And I would love to hear your guys' opinion on whether or not I made the right move. Would you have made the same move? Please feel free to drop a comment below, and I really would appreciate that. So that was my hand where I was almost in the money, and unfortunately, that's how it goes. I felt like I got my hand in the right place. If I would have doubled up that hand, I definitely would have made the final table. I was playing very aggressive and very strong. I was getting in my hands with the best hand possible and hoping not to get sucked out on all my hands. So if you are an inspiring poker player looking to improve your game, I recently wrote a book. Well, it's a poker journal. And what I found has been important in improving my game is that kind of documenting and looking at these type of hands and asking myself, would I have done something different? And a journal has really helped me. It's helped me in business, and now it's helping me in poker. Now, when I first looked for a journal, I couldn't find a good one that helped me. But my poker journal allows you to, estimate how many people are in the hands, how many chips are they having. You can document the read that you think you put them on, and you can even document every step of the way as far as the betting rounds from pre-flop to the flop to the river and the turn. So please, you can find that at theultimatepokerjournal.com, where you can pick up a copy today. Thank you for listening.